So over the festive holidays, I got into a conversation with one of my friends who began to build his personal brand on the internet 3 years ago. But in 2026, one of the sad things he told me is that he's going to be starting from the scratch because he made a couple of mistakes in how he positioned himself, and he feels like he just needs to pull down the entire thing he has built. And when I say the entire thing, I'm talking about over 100,000 followers. He needs to pull down that entire thing and then start from the beginning all over again. When you decide to build your personal brand, there is a wrong way to go about it and a right way to go about it. And if you do it the wrong way, 5-10 years later, you might regret some of the decisions and the choices that you make. So in this video, what I want to do is to show you 5 very costly mistakes that you want to avoid if you're building or growing your personal brand in 2026. But before we do that, my name again is Olaliko Ajayi, an ex-corporate 9-to-5 worker now turned a full-time ghostwriter, and I also run an agency. And on this channel, I show you how to leverage on writing to build yourself, influence, impact, and income on the internet. So if this is something that you like, I'd like you to hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so that every time I create a video like this, you will be the first person to be notified. And of course, subscribing to the channel really does help me. So please hit the subscribe button. All right, so guys, let's get into the video. What is mistake number 1? I don't care where you are at in your professional journey. One of the costly mistakes you will make is to not share your work or to share your thoughts on the internet. So if you're a kind of person that has been sitting on showing up on the internet up until 2026, I'd like you to make it one of your resolutions for the year to change. One of my favorite book is the book by Austin Kleon. It says share your work, because whatever it is you do in 2026, if it is not on the internet, it is as good as you do not exist at all. One of the thoughts Austin Kleon shared in that book is how beautiful is it if you are currently working a job now but sharing your work, and then somehow you lose your job, and because you've been able to build a strong personal brand, you find a job almost immediately, from within your network. How about how beautiful it is if you are an undergraduate sharing your work on the internet, and your first employer after you graduate has been somebody who has been following you on your social media platform all of this while. So it is a disservice if you are not sharing your work on the internet. Many people do not know currently one of my content is serving as part of a course curriculum for ENG 100 in Bellevue University. But how did that happen? Because I was sharing my work on Medium, one of the staff members of the university found my content on Medium and felt like, oh, this content sounds like one of the things we teach in our ENG 100 curriculum. So I'm going to recommend it to the school. I'm going to suggest that they bring this article as part of the materials for the course. And guess what? Back and forth negotiation and all that, and they paid me to have access to that content for the university. So bottom line, share your work, especially now in the days of the internet, where just by sharing your work you can reach hundreds and thousands of people all over the world. All right, so you can simply be in any part of the world, whether it's in Africa or it's in Europe, and share your work on the internet, and it can get to different other continents. So you don't want to make the mistake of hiding your knowledge, hiding your experience, and hiding the things that you're learning on your job while you're at your job in 2026. Show up. Pick a platform where you feel like your audience or the people you want to connect with are present, and then begin to share your work with the entire world. You're going to be the better for it. But while you decide to start showing up and share your work, this is the second mistake that you want to avoid. You don't want to pose or show up as what you are not. So I get this old culture of fake it till you make it, but that's not something we're going to be doing in 2026. You don't want to come up on social media and falsify figures. If you have never generated $100,000 for a client, why put that in your headline? Why say, oh, you have been able to, make 7 figures when you have never even made 4 or 5 figures? These are the lies that you don't want to tell in 2026. It's not personal branding. I want us to begin to separate personal branding from blatant lying. What you're doing is you're lying, you're falsifying figure, and you're building for yourself an image and a reputation of what exactly you are not. So we're not doing that in 2026. Show up as a personal brand with every sense of authenticity, and be very honest with the people who follow you where you are at in your journey. If you're just 6 months into the journey, let everybody know you're just 6 months, and what you're just going to be doing is to be showing what you're learning, the failures, the successes, People are more likely to be grateful if you're that honest with them than to have just 6 month experience and to polish your page and make it sound like you have 10 years experience. Call yourself names like expert, specialist, when you're just a novice. What if you find a client and then they give you a job and you cannot deliver a specialist or an expert level of experience, all right, on the job? You have just blown away, you've just destroyed your career, the career that you're still building. I have spent 6 years as a content writer, web and blog, SEO, LinkedIn, and any other platform that you can think of. I still hold back to call myself an expert. That's like a title that I don't want to attribute to myself because I'm still learning every day. I still want to get better, at least 1% every day. So in 2026, you don't want to show up on the internet as what you're not. Be honest, be vulnerable, be authentic, all right? This does not mean belittling who you are, your experience. This just means be very simple, be very truthful, be very honest. Let people know where you're at on your journey. Let them know you're still learning, you're still growing. Let them know the things that you got wrong and the things that you're getting right. Do not come and show up like you have no challenges, you have no obstacles, everything is working, everything is fine. Vulnerability will be one of your strengths as a personal brand in 2026. We want to hear the stories of things that are not working, things that you tried that failed. We want to hear the stories of your low moments. We don't just want to hear all the polished stories. Oh, I just got a 6-figure. And sometimes people even lie about these things. They didn't get a job, but because they know these kinds of content, the algorithm is always pushing it. Then they come and they just cook up something and share. That's not going to be you in 2026. So you don't want to make this very costly personal branding mistake in 2026. The third personal branding mistake that you don't want to make is staying in a mode for too long. And what do I mean by that? Like my friend who's been building a personal brand for 3 years, only to find out that he doesn't think what is showing up as represents his journey or what he wants to be known as or be known for in the nearest future, and it's just pulling everything down and starting from the scratch. Sometimes we start out online building a personal brand as ABC, only to find out that 6 months, 1 year down the line, we just are not finding fulfillment in that, in that identity, and we want to change. In 2026, I'd like you to give yourself permission to rebuild and rebrand again. For example, when I started Optimal Edge in 2020, we were a business support service and we're rendering all kinds of business support service, from web designing to graphics design to social media marketing to content development. Somewhere at the end of the year, when I was doing my business review, I discovered that what was selling the most for our business was just content development. So what did I do? I tore off every other services that we had coupled together before, and we stuck with just content development. And that is what we have done in the last 6 months. So if an identity or an image is no longer serving you, if a skill set that you have been positioning to sell, is no longer serving you, then in 2026, I'd like you to give yourself permission to start all over again, all right? And we're still in January, so it's a good time to just, start again. Tell your audience, that you're pivoting, that you're transitioning to another thing, to another industry, and those that are going to stay with you will stay with you. Those that will unfollow, and then you can begin to build something that feels authentic and feels like you in 2026. The fourth mistake we're not making in 2026 is focusing on vanity. I don't know why my teeth is eating each other, but the fourth mistake we're not making in 2026 is focusing on vanity metrics. Oh, I got it correctly at last. All right, it's focusing on vanity metrics, the likes, the comments. Those are the things that makes you feel like your life is not really working, especially on social media. Sometimes you're going to come online and you find that some people make posts and you get 1,000 comments, 1,000 likes, and you make your post and you get like probably 5 or 6 or 7, and then you're wondering, oh, what is wrong with me? Why is everybody not talking on my content? Why are people not liking my content? And oftentimes people quit, at that point, without realizing how close that they are to that breakthrough moment where everybody is now reading their content. They now have viral articles. So in the year 2026, you don't want to focus on vanity metrics. I'd like you to measure other things that are very important to your business. How many people are viewing your profile? How many conversations are you having in a week with the people that you want to connect with and you want to sell to? And these are things that are under your control. What the algorithm does in 2026 is outside your control. That's under the control of the owners of the platform. And these are the things that you don't want to focus on because they are going to drain your energy, drain your motivation. So you want to focus on the things that matter. The fact that you're showing up every day, creating content, learning and improving, that's something to celebrate. All right. So in 2026, we're not focusing on vanity metrics, we're focusing on the things that really move the needles. How many conversations are you having that can turn to clients, down the line? Those are the things that you want to pay attention to in 2026, because at the end of 2026, what's going to matter is whether you hit your financial target. It's not whether 1,000 people liked you or you had 1 million impressions in 2026, but you are still broke. All right. So I'd like you to pay attention to the things that matter in 2026. And the last but not the least mistake we're not making in 2026 is trying to be everything to everybody. So this is one of the cause of being a multi-potentialite. Some of you can do 5, 6, 7 things, and one of the mistakes people try to make when building a personal brand is they are trying to accommodate all of these in their identity and their personal brand. It's often a challenge, especially if the things you're trying to couple together are not directly related to each other or complement each other. So you don't really want to find yourself in that space where people land on your profile and you talk about almost everything. Today you talk about politics, tomorrow you talk about entertainment, the next day you're talking about football, the next day you're talking about marriage, relationships and all that, and you leave people confused what exactly you do, because the whole essence of personal branding is to build an image for yourself in the minds of people. And the biggest win of personal branding is when your brand finally gets to a place where when people mention your name, something immediately comes to mind that people have known you for over the months and over the years. So you don't want to be seen saying everything, doing everything. Be clear. All right, be clear on what you want to do. What are your goals? Who do you want to be seen and to known as or known for? And intentionally build around that identity that you want to reinforce in the minds of other people. That is the only way you're going to be able to start reaping the benefits that should come from your personal branding, such as monetizing. All right, so those are like my top 5 personal branding mistakes that you want to avoid in 2026 if you want to really build a brand that is going to stand the test of time and that is going to begin to open doors and opportunities for you. If this has been very useful and very valuable for you, let me know your highlights in the comment section. What stood out for you? What are you taking away from this video? And if you have any other question around personal branding, please leave me a comment. I guarantee you I will respond to your comment. And if it's something that I need to create a video on, you can be rest assured that some of these days I'm going to take your idea and create a video on it. If you're yet to subscribe to this channel, I'm saying it again and again, please hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so that every time I create a video like this, you will be notified. Like I said earlier, it's also going to help my channel grow and to keep doing this and showing up for you. I will see you in my next video. In the meantime, in 2026, I'd like you to stay legendary.